If you're 14 or 15, you should be actively involved in what you're working on in the therapy.
You're supposed to be.
Yeah. You
Like
should be.
like
Yes.
I think it's
and
age 11. I can't. It might depend on the state. I'm a little rusty because I focused on early intervention, but I believe it's like 11.
Like, how are we treating the clients? And if, like, you as a client are saying, hey, I don't feel comfortable with my parent being in here, which I totally agree with at that age, like, dude, man, like, I'm fine with doing this, but you need to I want to be able to do this on my own. It makes sense to me, right? And so this that should be something that should be allowed to be requested, I think, in my opinion.
100%.
And so I think that, just like we've already said, that this needs to be individualized for the client and the family, and it needs to be on quality of life, not because you talk too loud. Lots of people talk too loud. What are you going to do, right? Like,
and yeah,
I very much consider my wife talks too loud.
Oh,
too.
I talk way too loud. And these types of hearing her, like I just feel so much sadness and like emotion there. Yeah, it's hard to even respond because this is the part of ABA which like left me starting to feel I just don't like to see people feeling like they're not good enough or they're not worthy just the way they are, and using the science of ABA to help people to be able to show up in a way that they want to show up. Now, yes, we might not know, right? Certain like kids, like your own like your child, your like even like let's think about developmentally appropriateness. Like let's say that you're pretty much on par developmentally, but you're still a 3 or 4 year old. You can't make those decisions for yourself because you have parents. That's why we have parents to make those decisions. But it's helping to work with the parent, work together of like why, what is your why, what's your intention, and I think that's where things really. I was blessed in my ABA career that I worked with some amazing supervisors and amazing, I guess you would say, compassionate ABA providers. Now, some things that I did early in the 90s that were like a lot of trials, a lot of table time, a lot of trials. For some of the kids, I look back and I'm like, some of those kids didn't really quite need that. We could have definitely done a much more of a natural environment, a lot more, play setting and things like that. And so as I learned and I did better, and and that was one of the things I really enjoyed was natural environment training. And I was not the first to bring a kid to a table, right? In early years, yes, but once I started realizing that there are other ways of doing it, and I enjoyed going to work more when I was a tech, right? I enjoyed going to work so much more when I could have fun as well, and we could work together, and when the child wants you to show up at the door. But there definitely is kind of a sadness there for individuals who come out of this feeling like they were broken and needed to be fixed, or because that's one of the first things that I want to look at, right, in those situations is like the intention behind the parents. Like it is hard for me just to make a blanket statement because I can file, like I'm like thinking about all the different cases over the years that I worked with and like how different so many of them were. But ultimately, when it came down to it, we can use the science in a way that we can show up for people compassionately. We can help guide them. We can help guide their families with the intention behind like improving their quality of life. Maybe, and this individual, I don't know your story, but, and I get it. If somebody was constantly telling me, oh, you're at 5, like, even when you're like, honey, you're being loud, or when we're at a restaurant growing up and my brother would be like, April, shh, 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 shh. Like, what? Because I'm just a loud person. That's just who I am. So the more you're going to tell me to hush, 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 like the more that's just going to frustrate me and upset me. And I'm less likely to do, but there might be certain occasions that maybe socially, like if you don't understand in certain in certain settings you do need to have a more quiet voice, like, you know, so there's a place and time for these things, but it's all in like the intention behind it. And I don't know, I feel a little, I'm just not quite sure the right wording to use, because there's a lot of emotion behind that when I feel that, when I hear that someone feels that they need to be fixed or they're broken, and that's some of my own baggage I bring to the table. So
I think we both have that kind of like, oh man, I'm broken going on, right? And so like that mindfulness has been something that has been very effective in my life, right? Where accepting, okay, here, this is the environment I find myself in. Now, how do I want to move forward, right? How do I want to be in this world, right? And so this like it's not so much about fixing as it is, this is where I'm at, this is where I want to move forward, and so how do I go on that path, right? Knowing that this path is going to be full of bumps and curves, and you know, I'm going to fall down, and that's okay, but knowing that, like you said, the intention here is I want to do this thing, right?
And the intention, you know, and if a parent's intention is that, oh, I want my child to be indistinguishable from their peers, or like anything that like seems like perfection, right? That's when then I want to start having more conversations with the parents. And that's one of the reasons why, as I was shutting down my ABA company, that was my mission moving forward, was how can I support parents too, right through this. And I'm finding myself instead still very much in the ABA field, helping providers and techs and BCBAs and those business leaders